Coming up on MovieBuff, Paul Rudd's in search of male companionship in I Love You Man, the funny business of politics in The Loop, and prepare yourself for one electrifying ride in Crank High Voltage.
Good, right?
Boys, I have a question. Are you man enough to tell your best mate that you love him? Well, maybe you will be after you've watched Hollywood's latest bromance movie, I Love You Man. Directed by Paul Hamburg, the guy behind Meet the Parents and Along Came Polly, this comedy highlights the joys of male bonding. You see, sensitive real estate guy Peter, played by Paul Rudd, needs a best man. He's about to get married, and while he's found himself a woman, unfortunately, he has no mates.
This is ridiculous. Why is it weird that I had girlfriends?
Nothing, we're just saying you never really had a best friend is all.
Well, who's your best friend?
Your brother, Robbie.
What's up?
He's about the coolest guy I know.
Cue the start of a series of mandates, until eventually Peter does meet the one, Jason Segel's crass, slacker character, Sidney Fife.
Slowly but surely, watch the leg. Wait for it. Wait for it. Fart. Boom. That's a fart. That's a fart.
Oh my God.
Look at him. Crop dusting across your open house. It's a disgrace.
He farted in my open house.
You sure did.
Right, your character is very girly.
Right.
How girly are you?
I'm not. I have my effeminate qualities. I'm not a kind of stereotypically macho alpha male, as hard as that might seem to believe. But I don't think that I'm particularly girly, really.
Are you quite like Sydney?
I'm not so much. I've never had the quality of this is who I am, take it or leave it, which is a quality Sidney Fife has, and a quality that my friend Russell Brand has. And I, to some extent, tried to use the persona that I was so admiring of in Sarah Marshall.
Now, this is the third time that these boys have worked together. They previously shared the big screen in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, the film Jason just mentioned, and also Knocked Up.
In Hollywood, it's not very often that you get to have a hoot with your ghost.
He almost had it.
Yeah, they're a couple of jokers, that's for sure. Having to keep them in check on set was the job of this man, writer and director John Hamburg.
Is it difficult to be their boss then, if you're mates with them? Is that hard?
Not really. I'm not the most, I'm probably a pretty benevolent boss. You know, it's more like, I like to create a light atmosphere on the set. So, you know, I consider myself like the host of a cocktail party as opposed to a movie director.
So they had fun making it, and it is a fun movie to watch. And if you're not yet a bromance fan, get with the program, as this genre is here to stay.
Like Voldemort.
It's the sharp-tongued satire that stormed the UK, filling the corridors of power with foul language and foul play.
Rob, Ennis, little bull jockey and the leaky box, go back to your desks and prepare to start briefing now.
Now, the thick of it has made the move to motion picture, crossing the pond in the process.
All right, we've got to get a hold of those minutes. I have to correct the record.
We can do that?
Yes, we can.
In the Loop is a flagrantly foul-mouthed affair, scrutinising the UK's political relationship with America in the run-up to war.
It's ridiculous. The case against war is far stronger than the case for war, and the case for war is caveated all to hell.
James Gandolfini provides A-list American oomph as a US general against military action. Peter Capaldi reprises his role as the Prime Minister's attack dog Malcolm Tucker, forced to square up to the American heavyweight.
Well, it was scary initially, but he's such a gracious and kind sort of man, and I'm such a huge fan of his. At first I was quite sort of intimidated by the fact, well, A, that it was him, and B, that I loved him. And of course my character doesn't, but then I realised that, you know, I'm the sort of, I look after Malcolm's black heart, and I'm sort of responsible for that, so I decided just to let Malcolm out and deal with him. So Malcolm's tougher than I am.
Behind the scenes, the film belongs to writer-director Armando Iannucci, Britain's king of satire and the man behind Alan Partridge, The Day-to-Day, and of course, The Thick of It. But how would his unique brand of comedy go down in the States?
When we showed it at Sundance, I didn't know whether the Americans wouldn't take to a blend of cynicism and sarcasm about the whole process over there, but they lapped it up. I think they saw it as a kind of comment on the last 8 years.
Okay, I'll do it. The through
No,
here.
you will not do it, Malcolm, because that is a breach of protocol.
Okay, well, you do it.
No, I will not do it.
Go in
I'm
there
not
and do
dancing
it.
with you on this. I'm not dancing.
I'm not dancing.
Get through there. I'm not doing it.
No.
Here we go again.
You've heard the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, that was clearly what the men behind Crank had in mind while making their latest film. Cast your mind back to movie number 1. Hitman Chev Chelios was forced to keep his adrenaline flowing in order to stay alive. While in movie number 2, it's the same Mr. Chelios, same race against the clock, only this time the thing he has to keep a check on is...
They gave you an artificial heart? Keep your body electrically charged to keep it pumping.
Those Chinese mobsters are up to their old tricks again. Britain's own gravelly-voiced action man Jason Statham returns, and by the sounds of it, couldn't wait.
The first one was 6 weeks of the best fun I've ever had. Brian Taylor and Martin Everdeen are quite unusual in their methods and techniques when it comes to making a film. You know, what they're doing is way ahead of its time, I feel. And, you know, you've got to have a small part of your brain missing not to want to reunite and sort of go to work with those two people again. So I was in from even the suggestion of doing part 2.
Amy Smart's also back in the mix as Eve after learning some pole dancing skills. Plus, they've cranked up the number of baddies, which means fans can expect it to be...
more offensive, more ridiculous, more action, more everything, you know.
And that's not all.
There's drug abuse, there's violence, there's comedy, there's action, and there's a cameo by one of the greatest actors of all time.
I doubt Corey Haim's ever been called that before. Okay, so using the same gimmick means a few points off for originality, but 8 out of 10 for entertainment.
Find someone to rub against. It causes static electricity.
And let's face it, when it comes to the Stath, guys want to be him, while women want to be with him. So don't be too shocked, excuse the pun, if it's another winner.